Fact only.
Yes, sir.
We're talking Burna Boy.
Yes, sir.
Another Twitter, I won't say rants, but
Moment.
another Twitter moments. Burna Boy saying he's not a Nigerian artist.
Yeah.
That he doesn't make money from Nigeria. So said a couple of things on Twitter.
Yeah.
First of all, where do you stand? Like, why is Burna Boy saying this?
I think first is first, we have to understand the tone of that. You have to understand where Burna Boy was coming from. Someone wrote a tweet about Burna Boy will soon leave Twitter for you. Burna Boy replied, me we don't be Nigerian artist, or me that I'm not a Nigerian artist, or something like that. Then someone there replied him that why is Burna Boy doing something like that, doing stalking down on Nigeria? Then Burna Boy replied to the person that Nigeria, he's only here because Nigeria is his home, and a lot of other things like that. That's the only cruise day, yes, that doesn't make money from Nigeria. The question then becomes, Burna Boy, the tone of that entire thing, it was joking. A lot of it was joking, but there was a serious undertone to what he was saying, and there was a factual undertone to what he was saying, and there was also condescension in it at the same time. But first, let's look at the angle of does Burna Boy make money from Nigeria? Mr. Easy sent out a tweet last year. No, he did a video last year where he was talking about how 80% of his revenue doesn't come from Nigeria. How do artists make most of their money? Music, sales. But most of the money, they make money from sales. Most of it comes from streaming, because as at 2018, around 80% of the global music revenue came from global music sales revenue came from music streaming. You're talking about touring and you're talking about endorsements. Mr. Izzy echoed the same thing last year. Nigerians seem to have a bloated opinion of themselves in terms of importance. Because number one, how many people are streaming music in Nigeria? We're a country of 200 million people, right? Less than 2 million Nigerians pay for music and stream music. And even 2 million people, let's say even 2 million, less than 2 million Nigerians stream music. Less than 1 million pay regularly to stream music. That means how much money the artist is making from you people. Who do you think you are? You are not paying these people. Most of you people are downloading. As at 2 years ago, about a year, as at 2019, a report came out that over 75 million Nigerians download music. Over 150 million people downloaded music across Africa over the preceding 3 years. And guess over half of them are from Nigeria. That's 75 million Nigerians are downloading music. You are not paying these artists. All your blogs are not paying them. And the tours that they are not doing local touring. They are doing Live Nation tours. How much money do you think? They are not making any money from people. However, a lot of people that also attend their shows in some of those places where they go to tour, they are Nigerians. That's another angle that you need to look at it from. And then endorsements. Burna Boy has an endorsement with Nigerian breweries. He's been carrying it on his head. He made a lot of money. He made money from Nigerian breweries. But he did an endorsement with Beats recently. Bro, you can't compare. Even though he's Burna Boy and his money would have skyrocketed by now, you can't compare some of those things. So, does Burna Boy really make money from here? A strong 75-80% of Burna Boy's revenue doesn't come from this country. That might even be an understatement.
Okay. But isn't there something more important than the money, the streaming money or tour, whatever it is, that Nigerians have offered him?
Oh, absolutely. The thing we need to look at is, was Burna Boy also wrong for doing that? Yes, a part of him was wrong. But then, first things first, we have to look at it from the perspective of growth. Artists, superstars, as much as major labels back them to get to a certain level, a part of them also wants it. To be a superstar and to remain a superstar, you have to want it. You have to enjoy being a superstar. You have to enjoy that status of a superstar. And human nature suggests that when you've conquered a certain horizon, a certain frontier, you are chasing the new horizon. That's just how it is. A lot of these artists, they've conquered Nigeria, they've conquered Africa, they've been here. Before they went on this Western sojourn, they were already superstars here for 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. They are still superstars here. That market is where they want to get to. That's where the legacy is. That's where they judge their growth by. That's where the money is. That's where some of the biggest things that they want to do is. And you can't blame them, because America and Europe is, anything that America endorses is going to trickle down to the rest of the world. You can't compare Burna Boy of 2018 that was Burna Boy of 2017 pre-outside to Burna Boy that has been Grammy nominated, and that his album has charted at number 53 on the Billboard Hot 100. You can't compare. You can't compare any of those things. And then you also have to look at how Nigeria is not the greatest country right now. Nigeria is fucked. Nigeria is fucked on every front. It's not exactly something to be proud of. Last year, a ton of people were killed at Lekki toll gate. It's still unaccounted for. Currently, Boko Haram is running rampage everywhere. We are seeing ministers talking rubbish. We are seeing a minister who has refused to leave office because, despite the fact that he has been accused openly of being associated with terrorism. What are we saying? It's not exactly the best time to be proud of Nigeria. But at the same time, Nigeria supported Burna Boy. Without Nigerians, will Burna Boy be here? No. They are the ones that carried your ministry and put you on that pedestal before he left. Burna Boy might also argue that when he had problems, a lot of Nigerians rejected him. He might argue that. And he will have a point. But at the same time, you were not exactly doing the greatest things at the time. You were indulging yourself in bad behavior. Do you want people to indulge bad behavior? I mean, he might argue that people didn't give him a chance. Maybe people didn't give him another chance at the time until he started succeeding. And a part of him might feel validated by the things he's doing now. But at the same time, Mr. Burna Boy, come on, bro. Nigeria, even if they didn't accept you, right? Okay, no problem, they didn't accept you. But guy, now here you record you now, now Phantom produce you now. It's a significant chunk of African Jam produced by KLP. The people that a lot of the people that are streaming your music might not be Nigerians, but you should recheck the legal rate of the download of your music as well. I mean, that might not count for anything for you, but bro, you will come to perform here and you will see how people are celebrating you. And when you won the Grammy, the Americans didn't celebrate you. Africans and Nigerians celebrated you, bro. Even if some Americans celebrated you, Africans and Nigerians celebrated you more. So what the fuck are you saying? And a part of it also trickles down into why a lot of Nigerians felt like Burna Boy was going to be out of control the moment he wins a Grammy.
Does the Grammy tie into this character?
Burna Boy has never been humble. He's always had the hubris. Always. And a lot of it is why a lot of some Nigerians didn't want him to win it from the perspective of it. And a lot of those people are like Davido and Whiskey stans anyway. But some people were genuinely worried about the effects of a Grammy win for Burna Boy. Because Burna Boy's track record, in terms of his behavior, is not the greatest. So you understand why people might... at this time, you can't exactly separate both. You can't. A Grammy is a way... We talked about it during the post-Grammy episode, where then John Caramonica on podcast, New York Times' podcast, were discussing how some people discover music. So they were discussing how the importance of a Grammy win for certain artists, because some people might discover music through playlists, some discover through streaming, some discover through word of mouth, some discover it through social media. But there are certain people that will discover Burna Boy after his Grammy, that would have discovered him after his Grammy win. Now, can Burna Boy do without the Nigerian market? Absolutely. The Grammy, can it do without the Nigerian market? Significantly, yes. Because a lot of the money doesn't come from here. Significantly. But at the same time, should he do without the Nigerian market? No. Because I was talking to Noso Amadi, we said it over and over on the show. Noso Amadi said something in 2019 when I interviewed him in July. He said, as much as that market might pay you, that market is not exactly your home. The runs always end for a lot of people, and then they have to come back to the base. If you alienate this base and you cut it off before you go there, it might be a problem for you if you then have to come back to re-strategize. Look at Davido. It didn't work for Davido the first time after Son of Mercy. What did Davido do? Davido came back. 2017 had that run. Guess what? One song from that run was the one that is the biggest Nigerian song in America right now. Probably going to be certified platinum very soon. So you can't exactly eliminate it.
So why is an African giant now, shitting on his own people who are Africans?
Burna Boy use case of African giants has always been very checkered. As much as the brand sold him and he's been able to indulge himself into that persona, there have been certain instances where he has not justified that brand for himself. How did this brand even come along? Kudos to his fans kudos to his fans and his mom and a lot of people on his team for turning that negative publicity around Coachella into something good for Burna Boy. Kudos to them because they transformed it. Don't do them. Stop saying my name is Small Caps. I'm an African giant. They turned it into a successful album. Fantastic ideas. Shout out to him as well. But at the same time, three key instances where Burna Boy has not done himself proud for being an African giant. One, shortly after that album dropped, or was it before, the xenophobia thing and with AKA South Africa, you have been chanting a Pan-Africanist mantra for the longest time. But the moment for you to come out and be a Pan-Africanist, when Africans were at loggerheads with each other, you bottled it and you botched it. What did you come to do? You came to say, AKA, I'll pull up on you in South Africa. Is that what we need right now if I'm a Pan-Africanist? Secondly, during the Allstars protests, in the early days, Burna Boy was nowhere to be found. His identity was nowhere to be found. Now, a lot of times, it might be unfair. A lot of Nigerians also put a weight on his back. They put weight on his back to do something, and they wanted him to become a hero. He doesn't have to become your hero. He's an artist. He's not your president. But at the same time, if you put yourself, we did the facts only, but if you put yourself in that position, and you say, and you want to put your face out there as someone who cares about the people and who cares about the struggle and who speaks against the struggle, some people will be obliged to put certain things on your back. And then the third thing, we are now here, Nigeria again. You, Burna Boy, you are meant to be. If Fela abandoned Nigeria, was saying he wasn't Nigerian at the time, would Fela's music have as much legacy? No. You can't say that. It's against the entire brand that you're branding yourself for. But at the same time, does it reflect the transition of his next album? That's the big question. Because over the past 2 albums, or 3 albums, even though African Giant started from the album African Giant, he's been riding on this Pan-Africanist, highly socio-politically charged music. His first single after the Grammy win is Kilometer, which has nothing to do with social politics. So the argument now is, does it have any indication on where Burna Boy is headed next? It might be informative. This might be Burna Boy trying to shed the vestiges of social politics from his music to get into another stage of his career. If he says that openly, then maybe the pressure of African giants might fall off his back a bit. The scales might fall off his back a bit. This could be him playing that card. And that might mean that his next album might not be as socio-politically charged. And that's facts only.